Well, thank you for joining us. Again, let me remind you that we have cash out. It goes with a short code *439#. So what you have to do is to make sure with cash out you choose option 2. You also have to increase your chances by making sure when you get to see the prompt that says that the ticket numbers from 5, 10, 15, 20, you do that promptly. And as I'm here, I have to start as quickly as possible. So let me see whether I can also join. So I'm dialing *439#. All right. And I'm choosing option 2. So I'm doing that as well. So option 2, the number of tickets. It says enter number of tickets into bracket 5 cedis per ticket. So I'm doing that. Let me just do 8 first. And then I'm getting the prompt as quickly as possible. Fantastic. Fantastic. Today, dear, they say, so I'm entering my PIN. Yes. Do you want to approve the transaction? Yes, I'm approving the transaction. Payment of 40 Ghana made successfully. I'm continuing again. *439#. Let me say good morning to you, Justice Mingo, who was very formative, instrumental in my training as a journalist in the beginning of my career. Good morning to you, Justice Mingo, wherever you find yourself. I say good morning to you, great man. And please, wishing you all the best for the day, Justice Mingo. Let me say good morning to a number of you as well. Raphael Sebonsu joining us always from Kumasi and the rest of the team. And please, if you join us on our stream, please share the stream. And let's have some great conversations right here. All right. Today, we're here to speak about the NDC demonstration they're undertaking and whether it's the right thing to do, what also is the end game. And already they seem to be getting a lot of more pressure from JM, that is John Dramani Mahama, on the campaign trail to intensify their actions, calling on the Electoral Commission for an audit of the voters register. The Electoral Commission, we already have the latest coming from them. We had an interaction with Dr. Bosman Asari, who is a deputy chair of the commission as well. So we'll give you those insights. But in the meantime, we'll also be introducing our guests for the morning. Let me just say, for whoever is joining us this morning, thank you for joining us on our stream. Please share the stream. Let's have some great conversations and then have some great time. And please, all of us will be the better for it. Let me just quickly start by introducing our guests for the morning. Osman Ayariga, I don't know why he's clad himself in this. Very obvious though, but what are you going for golf for? Good morning, Osman Ayariga, legal practitioner as well.
We are fighting serious illegalities, and we are also fighting serious incompetence, and we are fighting people we expect to be independent umpires who have decided to act as though they're an extension of the MPP, even though we know some of them are strong MPP members but have found their way into the Electoral Commission system. So we are fighting many battles this morning. We're also fighting for the body and soul of this country. We are fighting to bring this country back to its right course, in the right direction, and to the right place. So today is a very important and very crucial day, not only for the people of the NDC or NDC members or the youth, but also every Ghanaian who is interested in free, fair, transparent, credible elections. Every Ghanaian who wants to have his voice or his vote counted and heard. Every Ghanaian who wants to effect that change. Every Ghanaian who is going through the suffering, you and I, everyone here on this table, of course, with the exception of the MPP rep who is currently enjoying.
Osman, we haven't started. We just agree to you. These days when they greet you, land. Osman, we'll be back with you. And then NYS has joined us, Nana Yao Sapong. And I love your customized shirt. Who made it for you?
So,
good morning.
Good morning to you.
It's a demo day.
GTP fabric.
I am representing Alan John Kojo, a man who believes in made in Ghana, a man who has been able to actually turn the face of textiles and garment and textile business in this country, the industry in this country. And then you would ask me my made in Ghana shirt, who got it for me? Roland. As a man, I
remember Alan as the one who was in charge of the presidential initiatives at the time. Yeah.
Yes, of course, and that was how he was able to turn around the industry.
Anyway, how is he doing?
He's doing excellently well, by the grace of God. And then I would want to say a special good morning to Hobson Adoye. Hobson. And a special good morning to my senior colleague, Educhum. In fact, tell them that...
Who,
Naneo, your friend, Naneo.
Doctor?
Yes.
Naneo?
Yes.
That Dr. Say Educhum?
Yes. Naneo Educhum.
No, Educhum.
And tell him that, by the grace of God...
He's also a doctor, where you know that.
The devil is a liar.
Back in the day, he used to come on... I used to host a program called... Newsstand.
Yes.
And he was a regular on the show.
Yes. And it's by grace of God we are doing fine. And you know, we have actually we named our running mate the last time, just when we had presented.
What's his name? Have you formally outdoored him?
He would be outdoored.
What's
Elijah Kwame also done so.
Kwame also done so.
Yes, Kyo. He's
a legal practitioner.
He's a legal practitioner,
journalist,
broadcast journalist. He did very well in the entertainment industry as well. And what people do not also know that once upon a time he was a professional footballer somewhere in your Mampong area. And so this is a young, energetic man. And this is to say that Alan indeed walks the talk, because he did promise Ghanaians and the youth of Ghana that he was going to bring to us a young, energetic vice president. And he has done it. KOD is about 40 years. And of course, he's been a youth activist, and he's been in the space for some time.
So it means that Alan swerved. I shouldn't go that route.
When you say swerved, it means you have to define it. Probably you were with him when he was promising people. We don't promise. And the promise he made...
Dr. Abu Sakara came into the studio.
The promise he made was very public, and it was there. Even at the media engagement or media encounter with Alan, concerning the GTP, when you were not able to attend, of course, you didn't come. Bellamuni was there. You didn't come, of course, and I was here. I deliberately invited you. Wamba. He stated it publicly there also, that he was going to give to Ghanaians a young vice presidential candidate. Unless otherwise you want to tell me that 60 years is young. Of course, we are in Ghana. Some people retire at the age of 80. And, you know, my brother here has... They wanted somebody to be a young man, and the person is not younging for them. You understand? So it's there.
Well, let me also introduce Awal. Awal Mohammed has promised not to be giggling and laughing and interjecting a lot of his opponents. So how are you? He will tell me that
fine, thank you.
He wants to put information right if it is wrong, right?
Did I say that?
Usually that's what you say.
We have not even started. Yes, no, I came here, you've started already, so at least we didn't even speak off. No, I'm saying that we didn't even speak off. Good morning.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm well.
Yes. Dr. Baumia is campaigning. He's continuing his constituency-based campaign here in Greater Accra. This morning he will be in Kpong, Katamanso, Ashaman, and Krowo, to tell the people what he's been able to do. You know, when he touched base within the constituency, he started with what we have been able to do the last 7 years. Then he will mention the bigger ones, like the free senior high school, one constituency, one ambulance, massive road infrastructure, and so on. Then he zero it on the constituency and tell them what have we been able to do within the constituency. That's the reason you have all the chiefs, the clergy, the imams endorsing him, because they've seen that there is future in him. We're also looking at what we have been able to do and what he is promising. He will not go and complain to Ghanaians that things are hard, because we know that indeed things are hard, but there is light at the end of the tunnel with Dr. Baumia. That's the reason the chiefs and the clergy and civil society are endorsing him, giving him full endorsement publicly, to the extent that former President Mahama is complaining. Even with that, he's complaining that there are hardships. He's not able to even explain his 24-hour economy. He's saying that Ghanaians will have 24-hour nightclub. Okujeto Ablakwa sat on this platform and said they will do airports in all the 16 regions and so on. On this platform, he told Kemeni as part of the 24-hour economy. So we are focused on our campaign. Dr. Mateo Poco Prempe yesterday was around Kanishi doing the market visitations and the street campaign. We'll make sure that every Ghanaian get to know what we're able to do generally in their constituency and what we'll be able to do to help at least ameliorate the situation.
Well, our team, we have them on the ground already, and so we'll be going live to them. But let's take you through a number of the responses so far that have been coming from the Electoral Commission. If we're ready with them, let's first go through what the graphics are by way of the quotes, and then we'll come to what the response of Dr. Bosman Asare is. So first, Alan Kojo-Kyerematen spoke on the subject of the audit, and we'll put that on the screen for you to familiarize yourself with it. Please make sure you share the stream as well. I'm already seeing a number of you, Shaibu Mohammed, and a number of the... Alan Kojo-Kyerematen says, it only goes to enhance the credibility of the commission. That is in response to a call for the audit. Yes, forensic audit has to be done. I'm not sure why there should be a resistance to that, because yes, the Electoral Commission has indicated that they have responded to those comments, right? Following that, distinguished professor of law and currently dean, UPSA Law Faculty, before then was with the Gimpa Law Faculty as dean, and Professor Kofi Abuchi says in his public quotes or post, the EC's position on the request for an audit of the register is baffling and even troubling. For even if they deny the merit of the claims, audits by their nature confirm or refute allegations, and for a constitutional body. Okay, and for a constitutional body whose mandate is rooted in perceptions of fairness and neutrality, it is in its own interest and that of Ghana that it dispels, not fight, allegations of a bloated register through an audit. And then Professor Stephen Kwekwasari, CDD fellow, also based in the US, says it is unreasonable to maintain that audits are unnecessary because errors discovered during the voter register exhibition process will automatically be corrected. On the contrary, the identification of such errors strengthens the need for an independent audit. Now we come to the response of the Electoral Commission, because Dr. Bosman Asare has been speaking to Noble Crosby Annan, and this is what he said.
When you talk about a forensic audit, it sends a signal that you have a massive bloat of the register, which we don't have. So as far as the commission is concerned, we think that there is no need for an audit. And you know, we gave the register to the parties in 2020. We gave it to them in 2023. So we think that the parties themselves should be in a position to be able to assess whether all the details they themselves put together during the registration in 2020, in 2023, 2024, they are intact. But you know, since the register we gave to the NDC, we gave to the MPP, the GFP, all the parties, now that document has changed because the exhibition was meant to do corrections. We say without any shadow of doubt that all the problems you have identified, which is influencing you to call for an audit, all the problems we have also identified. But for you to be convinced, we are calling you because you are interested in a credible register. The EC, our penchant, what is motivating us is that we are producing a document that is robust, that is credible, to use in the December 7th general election. No, we think that what will change something is the discussion table. We coming together, although we concede that political parties is something which is entrenched in our laws, individuals can come together and demonstrate, express concerns as far as they have certain things to express concerns about. So that one is not a problem to us. But we think that if the objective of the NDC is a solution to have a credible register, a robust register entering into the 2024 elections, we believe that they must be willing to come to the discussion.
Osman, Ayariga, legal practitioner, all of a sudden you're hitting the street. Come to the discussion.
Roland, good morning to you, and good morning to my brother from Alpha Franto, and of course for my brother from the MPP, who said they are receiving endorsements from pastors and imams, but he forgot to add that they are also entering shrines and looking for endorsements, even with juju men and juju women. We have seen videos of them, but I thought he would have added that, but he didn't add that, so they can be looking for their endorsements. But most importantly, why we are here today to do justice to most of the issues. We are heading into a very crucial elections, election 2024, which of course is an election that will bring the NDC back to power. It's an election that will take out this wicked, incompetent government, this clueless government out of power. Election in itself is a process, and every step in the way needs to be critically examined and critically participated by all well-meaning actors in every electoral process. So you do not wait or sleep on your rights or your intelligence or your information or your intel till the day of elections, when you now start making noise. Every step in the way, if you realize or you pick any form of discrepancies, you should be able to rectify it as soon as possible, so that we all, on the day of elections, can go through what we call a free, fair, transparent election. Because we do not want the instance where on the day of elections, you get to the polling station, your name is not in the register. I get to the polling station, my name is not in the register. Good number of people get to the polling booth, their names will not be in the register. And the entire election will end up being extremely chaotic. That is what the NDC is seeking to avert. Now, what are the issues the NDC is raising? We are raising quite a number of issues. First issue we raised had to do with the issues of voter transfer. And we raised all these concerns, time without number, especially with the Electoral Commission. And I'm surprised at Dr. Bosman's position. Every time he speaks, I sometimes ask myself, what is really happening in this country? When people find themselves in public space, they sometimes lose their objectivity and their sense of proper reasoning and intellectual analysis of issues, because either they are now being skewed to the powers that appointed them, or they are just seeking to, make someone happy. They are seeking to entice someone, or just to, make the appointing authority happy or feel excited for appointing them. Now, the first issue we raised had to do with the issue of voter transfer. And we raised the issue of absentee voter transfer. And what did the Electoral Commission tell us? They told us that it was impossible for any individual to have his or her name transferred from one polling station or one constituency to the other without the person physically present. They said it was impossible. Just there, we brought evidence so far as the voter transfer was concerned. The issue of the Tamale South constituency, that about 38 people were transferred to Pusiga constituency. Then the EC says, initially they were being reluctant. They said it was still impossible until we provided overwhelming evidence to show that people were being transferred even without their notice, and people were being transferred without them physically being there. So, Roland, what it means is that if originally you're supposed to vote in maybe Lojokuku Krowo, without your knowledge, your name is being transferred to Boko Central, my constituency. So on the day of election, you get to Lojokuku with your ID card, you have the ID card, but your name would not be found in the Lojokuku register. Your name is roaming somewhere in Boko Central. How then do you get to vote? Because you know that at the time you registered, your name was supposed to be in Lojokuku constituency or Lojokuku constituency. What did they do? The next thing they did was just to suspend or ask the EC director in the Pusika constituency to step aside. That in itself is another discourse for another day. We see someone just being punished for no wrongdoing, because if you and I understand the issues of transfer doesn't sit with the election director. Now, the next thing has to do with 3,957 names being deleted off the register. 3,000.
You mean the name didn't reappear?
Yes, the name didn't reappear. 3,957 names were deleted from the register. When the EC was asked, how did 3,957 names disappear from the register? The simple, very shallow answer they gave us is that they were being transferred from one place to the other, and along the line, the files got corrupted and the names were deleted. Today's day and
that's what they said.
Yes, 2024. You want us to believe that 3,957 names were deleted because a file got corrupted along the way. And the EC is trying to tell us that they do not have a sophisticated software. They do not have a sophisticated system to enable them to just transfer names from one point to the other. I'm not surprised. Even issues of very simple computation, arithmetic, during the registration time, they were using the Excel sheet, and they kept giving us so many mistakes that it took the NDC's election directorate to correct them so far as those figures were concerned. Quite apart from that, we asked of the total number of transfers, and per the data we all had, the total number of transfers was about 300,000 names so far as transfers were concerned. But the EC now comes out with another figure of about 500,000 names so far as transfers are concerned. And the question we are asking is that where from that 200,000 extra names of transfer, the EC is still unable to give us most of these answers. In addition to that, we have what you call the absentee voter list. So if you transfer your name from maybe Klote Kole or maybe Shai Osudoku to Boko Central, there should be the trace of that transfer. So your name should appear in the absentee list in the constituency which you are being transferred from. Out of that, 294 names have not been captured in the absentee list. So you realize that there are so many discrepancies, there are so many issues surrounding this current register.
Osman, one thing that has been the talk of the EC is they want you to furnish them with the data and then they will do the correction. How
Yes.
does that not work or sync with the position of the NDC?
Roland, initially when we raised all these concerns, the EC was very, very adamant, and their position was that
It's impossible.
The concerns we are raising is impossible, and they have a robust system. Their system is so tight that what we are saying is just impossible. We are just crying foul, we are just crying wolf where there's none. Then we started releasing the evidence to them and proving to them that A, B, C, D, what we are saying is possible, and it has happened under your watch due to your own incompetence, due to your own inability to put together a credible register, due to your own inability to make sure that there's been proper transfers. So we have done that by first furnishing you with just the beginning of the issues. Then we tell you that beyond what we have shown you, there is more to it. However, we do not currently trust the Electoral Commission to do a clean job, because you are the one who is currently in charge of the register, and you are currently doing a dirty job. And we are the ones, as a political party.
That's why you call for an external auditor?
Yes, I'm coming to why we're calling for an external auditor, because we have proven to you beyond reasonable doubt that you currently, we do not trust you to do a proper cleaning of the register. So what are we calling for? A forensic audit of the register. How is that going to be done? Call all political parties. Let's get an independent body. Let us sit together and let us properly audit the register. Simple and short. How difficult is this? And this is not the first time a political party will be asking for an audit of the register. In 2016, there was an audit of the register by an independent body, which was headed by Justice VCRC Crab at the time. Their own MPP at the time. they made allegations that some, I think 72 or 92,000 names were included in the register. I think it was
75,000. 76.
76,000 names.
We're told they're Togolese at the time.
Togolese, yes. We were told that some 76,000 names were included in the register and they were Togolese. And in fact, at the time, they were asking for a completely new register. But they ended up with the, the auditing of the register by an independent body of which all political parties were present, and there was a proper cleanup of the register. We are just asking that let us clean the register. Nobody is asking for what is not possible or what cannot be done. We are just asking for a simple audit of the register. Now, let me just land by telling you, at the time in 2016, this same Jean Mensah today, who is the EC director, her position at the time in 2015, and this is a news item from Daily Guide, engage independent body to audit register. Jean Mensah, 28th October 2015. She
might have been at the IEA at the time.
Yes, she was at the IEA at the time. So what is it about Madame Jean Mensah that at the time she was at the IEA, she was able to think and reason objectively and transparently, but as soon as she has been put there as the EC director, she just behaves as if she's an MPP foot soldier, behaving as if she's an extension of the MPP
What do you mean by he behaves?
Because she's refusing to see reason, she's refusing to see transparency, she's refusing to listen to any objective-minded Ghanaian. She's behaving like an MPP foot soldier who believes that I must do this to enable my party win election. Any other thing, anything short of that, I will not do it.
But the Electoral Commission is entitled to protect its independence. That's enshrined in the Constitution. You're a lawyer with that.
Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that actors of the election cannot also make proposals.
Well, that's true. Nanya Sapon, how does all this sync with the other opposition parties apart from the NDC? Because at the end of the day, if these are visible discrepancies for which we've seen even sometimes duplication of names or pictures, at the end of the day, there could be individuals who want to vote for anybody.
Of course, but anyway, good morning to your viewers and to all of our friends out there. And to my brother, today he's been a very fine gentleman.
I've always been.
Yeah.
From here you go to the shrine.
Roland, whatever that is happening today is not happening because somebody thinks that if you're the particular name in the register, the person is so sure he's going to get a vote. No. But whatever that is happening because we need a clean register for the elections 2024. The only vehicle that is taking us into the elections, the most critical document, is the register. Without the register, we cannot have an election. And so if stakeholders are calling for a clean register, it is not as though they anticipate that those persons found in the register are going to vote for them. We are all going into the elections ground zero. Then it is after the elections you know the number of votes you get. But Roland, elections or an election is a process. An election is not an event. I know that the commissioners at the Electoral Commission, they know better. That elections are a process and not an event. And for that matter, when the process is ongoing and stakeholders have issues with certain elements in the process or certain steps along the process, and we do not pause to tackle, to deal with that matter, it means that we want to look on for that process to crash. And so you will notice that in 2015, the current president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, called for a clean register. And his argument was based on the fact that there were some anomalies in the 2012 register which did affect his chances of becoming a president. And he will not sit and look on for that same register to be used for the 2016 elections, which meant that at the end of the day, he was still going to lose. I remember he granted a lot of interviews and did a lot of calling, to an extent that he called for an international audit. At that same time, Awal's boss, or former boss, Sami Awuku, was a youth leader of the NPP.
Youth organizer, yes, certainly.
Yes, youth organizer.
At the time he was in NDC.
Well, his boss now. Okay, for the purposes of this discussion and for the public who do not know, Awal was an NDC member, very active NDC in 2015, 2016. He joined NPP when NPP came into power in 2017, and then he was given an appointment.
That's actually incorrect. Ask him.
Oh, okay, it's incorrect. All right,
When
this
did
is
he join
incorrect.
in 2016 October?
No, please,
October. Okay,
let's
so,
know.
yeah, so as I'm saying, so Sami Awuku, during a rally, a demonstration in Kumasi, this demonstration, Bamuyada, you remember? Bamuyada, somewhere in April in 2016, when he called for the youth revolution. He also stated that Ghana is sick. Ghana cannot sit and look on for a bloated register to be used for the elections. All of us, all stakeholders, said that, listen, indeed, if the NPP is saying that they have issues with the register and they are a key stakeholder in this election, then let us give ears to their cry. What are we seeing today? Stakeholders for the 2024 elections are saying that there are issues with the register. And Roland, you see, Electoral Commission as an entity is dealing with issues of trust, is dealing with issues of integrity, and dealing with issues of public perception.
Why is that?
From the day of appointment, many people across the length and breadth of this country, many stakeholders have had issues with the way and manner in which the commissioners were appointed. They had issues because this perception about they having party colors around them. And they have been fighting this issue from that day of appointment till now. And so they would have to put in extra effort to be able to clear that public perception that they were party colors seated in there. I'm not saying they are, but that is a public perception. And if the public perception about you is this negative, then you need to put in more efforts to be able to clear it. Because the elections is about trust. If you are the referee and other opponents do not trust your judgment, and other opponents do not trust the fact that you would go by the rules, then we are heading towards chaos. And so, personally, just as my boss has stated, there is the need for us to hear the cry of the many stakeholders in 2024's election. Roland, what are we calling out for? Forensic audit. Bosman comes out to tell us that they've done the audit of the register because they have done voter exhibition. Roland, voter exhibition is just a subset of an electoral audit. It is not in itself is not an audit in entirety. It's a subset of it. An audit is a regular process. It's periodic with regards to every organization. I mean, your organization does audits every year, probably every quarter. every half year, every year, because they have to do tax returns and all that. Electoral Commission does it also to the register. But what they are calling out for now is forensic audit. Organizations call for forensic audit when there are issues of fraud.
Would you say that what has been identified are issues of fraud?
Of course, I mean, they've raised concerns about registered voters who have been transferred and they are not able to trace the source from where they have been transferred. Duplications and all of that. They have raised concerns. It was based on one of these concerns raised that the Pusiga Director of Elections has been interdicted. And you are calling for more evidence. What evidence do you need again? All we are saying is that give the go-ahead for a forensic audit. You are not the one paying for it. Government is not paying for it. We are told that UNDP says that they are going to bear the cost of all of this. And Roland, what Electoral Commission is refusing to understand is this. When all persons involved in these elections, I realize that you posted something about Kofi Abuchi, and he's not the only one. There are other persons who have done so, are calling and endorsing for the forensic audit. Should tell them that indeed there is something wrong. They are not the only people who have eyes to see. And it is simple. It is bringing about electoral tension. We do not want to speak out on that. But what is happening happened in 2016. You remember all those demonstrations that made somebody lose his eye and all of that?
Let my vote count.
Let my vote count and others. And the same tension is brewing. Let's be realistic. Let's be honest. What would it take from the Electoral Commission to grant the forensic audit? Let's assume that yes, they do the forensic audit and they find nothing wrong with the register. We move on. We go ahead to have our elections free and fair. And that is what Ghanaians are looking out for.
Well, where you have...
But I thought you let me land.
Okay. I thought you landed.
No, in London, see, this has to do with the issue of leadership and the appointments. And also on the fact that there is so much mistrust even amongst the two huge political parties. And this is where Alan Chomantin comes in. If we are able to break through, to bring along what we call the government of national unity, this all of mistrust would melt off. And in the other countries I've experienced it. There are other countries that the major political parties have been fighting for so many years. We have an independent candidate coming through, being president, and then there is peace, there is trust, and there is development.
Okay. So, where, for example, we have missing BVDs, initially we were told that the response from the Electoral Commission, whether no machines got missing, then we have laptops, and subsequently now we have these BVDs found in people's possession, and certainly not officials of the Electoral Commission, more so on the streets. And subsequently, you also find that there are duplication of names. And when you go and do the inspection by way of when the display is done for the register, what you go and find out is whether your name is intact, etc. You will not go and find out whether there are duplication of your pictures, for example. And to add to that, people are being transferred without their own authority and even notice. But ideally, this creates the situation of mistrust for the Electoral Commission. And don't you think that squarely the blame should be on the leadership of the Electoral Commission, i.e. Jim Mensah, Bosman Asari, and the rest?
Thank you
and
so
should
much.
it be a concern for you even as a political party?
Okay, thank you so much. Let me use this opportunity to say good morning to Salahuddin Musa. He's the Upper East Regional Youth Organizer of the MPP. Last Friday, I was in Upper East to train some communicators and youth organizers across the region, and we entered Bolga East, where Matthew Amwa will be able to unseat Dr. Dominic Ayini, inshallah. Roland, before I get to that, if you permit me, let me read something small from former President Mahama in 2016. This is on Ghana Web. No perfect voters register exists in the world, Mahama. Ahead of this year's presidential and parliamentary elections, President John Dramani Mahama has observed that there is no perfect electoral register in the entire world. However, nobody can use Ghana's register in its current state to his or her advantage. So let me read the relevant portion where he was quoted. President Mahama answering questions on the issues surrounding the register on Radio Savannah in Tamale Thursday, 14th July, he said, I believe with the advantage we have in terms of biometric registration and verification, even if you didn't have a register that was perfect, I believe that even if their names are on that register and we are vigilant at the post, nobody can use them to his advantage because we'll vote with our fingerprints registered. So I believe these institutions know how to work out these things out, how to work these things out. This is former President Mahama. He's saying that in 2016, because there is verification machine and we use our fingerprints to do that, even if you have the entire world in the register, there is no way someone can use it to his advantage, and the EC cannot rig for anyone. Today, the same person is telling us that the EC is in cahoot with MPP to rig the elections. How credible is that leader? So I was surprised when the EC, I was not surprised when the EC were in their response, quoted him and told him to tell his people that they have a robust and credible register. The man is not credible. Simplicity. Because in 2016, when people were calling for a new register, he said that the current register, even if you have the entire world in the register, there is no way someone can use it to his advantage if at the polls you have, we use fingerprints to do that. That's one. So now the man is saying that the register can be used to rig elections. So how credible is former President Mahama? Again, Osman raised the issue of we saying 76,000 people who are Togolese were in our register. The NPP, unlike the NDC, will not make vague allegations. We back it with evidence. We presented the evidence to the EC. After presentation to the EC, Charlotte Osei wrote to, according to her, she wrote to the EC in Togo. And the EC in Togo said that they cannot release their register because their register is a national security document. That was the reason Charlotte Osei gave us. But we had people with pictures that look alike and everything, even names. We presented it, and even on Joy FM. I don't know if that time you were on Joy FM. On Joy FM, the deputy EC commissioner for Togo came to confirm that what we have is their register, but they didn't get it. We didn't get it from official sources. He said we may have gotten it from political parties in Togo because they gave the register to the political parties in Togo. And that was what the deputy EC said. But they will not release to Charlotte, and that was the reason they couldn't use it to at least do the forensic audit or to do the audit to remove them from the register. Fast forward today, the NDC is saying that the register is not credible. When they were even going to the EC last 2 weeks Friday, they even requested for a media coverage so that they go to present their case.
What is wrong with that?
Ghanaians, there was nothing wrong with that. Ghanaians were expecting that. If you're going to present your case, you're going with documentations to show that indeed these are the anomalies 1, 2, 3, 4. You went there and alleged that there are over 50,000 people in the register who are dead. The EC says, bring the document. You don't have it. So how do you do a forensic audit of something that you are only alleging? They said, bring it. And again, if you check the register, from time immemorial, the CIs that have been used for elections in this country there is something embedded in it that how to remove people who are dead. Because you can't just present 50,000 people. You are able to get your agents in all the constituencies to get to 50,000 people. But you couldn't get the agents to file for them to be removed. The CI is saying that if you find any of your relative dead, you cannot just go and say this person is dead, so remove him. What you do is that you present death certificate or burial certificate. That is the reason we still have a lot of people in our register who are dead, because there are some that do not have it.
And we always have people who are dead.
Always have them.
Okay.
You understand?
What's your point with
the thing is that if they don't put it to strict proof, I can go to where Osman registers, maybe we register in the same police station, and allege that he's dead, and they can remove him. That's the reason they are saying that before you even present someone that the person is dead, you have to get either death certificate or even the obituary. If you are able to really prove it, then they can even remove that person. So the EC is calling on the NDC, that NDC, bring the documents that you said there are discrepancies. Just bring the documents so that at least we look at it if there is the need. Because in their response, they never said that they were against a forensic audit. When you check, when you read, they did not say anywhere that they are against it. They said, bring what you have. Then we look at it. We have the capacity to do it. But if there is the need for them to do the forensic audit, they do it. The NDC is moving around, you see, there's a saying in tree that you can't really carry your load, and you are blaming it on the head part.
Oh, wow.
That's what the NDC is doing. They can't even explain their policies. Former President Mahama is saying that the 24-hour economy will have... Let me land. If you want to... why?
No,
let me land. You did not interject them the way you are interjecting me. So let me land.
I'm about to... You don't want me to...
Let me land before you ask me a question.
No, please.
That's very important.
It is not...
Oh, you know, you're uncomfortable when I say that former President Mahama is not able to explain his 24-hour economy by saying that we'll have nightclubs in the 24-hour economy.
Okay. Are you done? So, where you have the EC themselves admitting that its own official did a transfer, not only in the same constituency, but outside the constituency into another region without recourse to the protocols. You don't think that warrants any form of audit at all?
I don't think just one out of about 275 constituencies that has been identified warrant an entire audit, because there was when you check on this platform 2 weeks ago on Friday, I condemned the EC for doing that, because I mentioned it, that I took my wife from Winneba, which she was voting in Winneba. I took her to go and vote in Ashanti region. I was there with her. I was not even allowed inside. She entered, did everything. She was given a new voter ID card. The old one was taken and she was given a new one. And I asked the questions there. I said, so is it possible that someone can just come and get transferred without necessarily coming to be present? They said, no, that's impossible, because the law stipulates that the person should be available. You see?
So your position is that the NDC is blowing hot air?
No. I mentioned, but I'm telling you that I mentioned that the EC will have to come out clearly to tell us if these anomalies are not repeated elsewhere. Because 38 people, especially in a constituency, is first past the post. Just one vote, you should be able to use the win election. Someone used 3 votes to win elections. Even though the EC or anyone, those even alleged, never said that the person who did that transfer is an NPP person. So we don't know the person. His name was mentioned. He was arrested by the police. According to the people, he took their names, he took their cards and said he wanted to process loan for them, right? That was what they said. They said he wanted to process loan for them. They never said that it's an NPP official who went and transferred them from that place, from Tamale South to Pusiga. That is clear. Again, the EC had come out to admit it, and they are saying that they have interdicted the gentleman who did that because he used the faces of the people to do it without necessarily getting them to be present to do that. I mentioned that the EC, that is not enough. The interjection is not enough. They should go ahead to make sure that Ghanaians understand these things. So you
agree that the action of the Electoral Commission does admit that there are discrepancies that could be replicated across many constituencies across Ghana?
So in all elections in 2020, these issues were raised about duplicate people in the register. They use a simple exercise, the deduplication exercise, and were able to remove about 26,000 people who had their names duplicate in it. So if you check our CI, it has not left any gap on how to audit the register.
In this instance, we're not talking about duplication.
I'm saying, but when you were asking me the question, you talked about
the question is in relation to The question is in relation to transfers being done without recourse to those individuals, for which we have regulations that does state or do state that there has to be recourse to the individuals. Actually, their presence at the time these transfers and the requests are being made.
If you listen to yourself, you asked me two questions. You said people who have their names duplicate in the register, and I'm telling you that there is a process by the EC which was done in 2020 to to at least clean the register. This is in the CI as amended, so there is nothing really that the EC can do if you, who is alleging, is not able to even give the documentations to prove what you're saying.
So it is as if that if nobody audits or sees anything, any stakeholder sees anything within the compiled register, it means that the register is free to go for the next election.
Roland,
shouldn't that be a worry?
Roland, I think my brother lacks basic comprehension of the issues. Either he's not reading the issues.
Meaning what?
Meaning either he's not reading the issues well, he's unable to understand the issues, or he's just doing propaganda for the sake of the fact that he's an MPP person. Not only in Pusuga, you talk about a Jumaku constituency, 3,000 names not found in the register. You go to issues of Yilo Krobo, over 889 names deleted from the register. So you realize that it's not just the issue of 38 names in Pusuga. We have told you again, time without number, that these are the ones we raised to you, and you were able to identify that, yes, we accept that our system has been flawed, and for that matter, we will rectify it. And the issue we are raising again is that we do not trust this Electoral Commission to be able to rectify the issues that we have raised in our absence. Because here's the case, the register is in your possession. All this while, you have been able to clean up the register. You've been unable to protect the sanctity, the transparency of the register. And you said that we should just come and hand over all our data, all of our issues to you without we present there to follow step by step the way
if
you correct the issues.
If you take a look at Osman, if you take a look at one of the arguments that Awal has been making, is that you have given examples and then instances. So why don't you bring everything? What's the position of the entity? Why can't you bring everything, for example, if that question is asked?
We have everything. We can bring everything. But we want to be there to see you correct everything, because it is an electoral process. Because we thought by now you would have been giving us a credible register. 83 days to elections, we still do not have a credible register. Issues of illegal transfers alone, over 300,000. And you think we should just sit back and watch the EC drive us in the wrong direction into a ditch? We will not sit back and watch. No. The next issue had to do with him saying that we went to the Electoral Commission without any data or without any evidence. We went to the Electoral Commission with our evidence and with the media to show to the entire world what the problems were. It was rather the Electoral Commission who said they were not going to entertain us because we had come there with the media. Mr. Bio sat in your studios here and said the same thing. So don't come and sit here and lie that we went to the Electoral Commission without any evidence and we went there with media. Why you think the NDC party is not a serious political? We went there with the media for the entire world to see the issues that are being faced so far as the register is concerned. So you see, we are interested in going into this election with a free, credible, transparent register. A register that you, Roland, will not get to your electoral area on the day of voting and realize that your name is actually not in the register. That is even more dangerous. And Roland, see, that is more dangerous than actually having people's names in the register who are actually not.
Estimatedly, how many names that the NDC focus to be those who are involved in this, either having names transferred without recourse to them or duplications or etc.?
We're looking at well over 300,000 names. And you and I know, in every election, people can win elections with even 100,000 votes. People can win an election with 40,000 votes.
MP3.
People can win an election with even 3 votes. And this can
Who's
affect
MP3?
Titus Glover, yes. And this can affect the parliamentary as well as even the presidential. This can affect the parliamentary as well as even the presidential. So, Roland, we are calling on all Ghanaians, whether NDC or MPP, but clearly the MPP has decided to be spokespersons to the EC from the position of our here. It looks like they are in bed with the EC and they are comfortable with everything that is happening. That is their position. We have decided not to be on the same bed with the EC because that bed doesn't look like a comfortable bed. We want us to have a very objective, transparent, credible register going into this election. That is what we are asking for. And we are calling on all Ghanaians today, starting now, to converge at all points in all regions and make sure you go out there and protest. But we are also sending this word of caution because we have picked intelligence that they may or they will.
Where did you pick the intelligence from?
From our own internal security. We have picked intelligence. You won't listen to the intelligence. You are already interested in where we pick the intelligence. We have picked intelligence of some MPP persons who may infiltrate our demonstration just to foment trouble. And we are warning them, if you are caught, if you have sent people into our demonstration to come and to make trouble, if they are caught, we will deal with them before we hand them over even to the police. So this is a word of caution because it's a peaceful protest to ask for a credible register, to clean up the register. In any case, why is the EC, why is the MPP scared of us just auditing the register? How difficult is it? How difficult is it? How difficult is it?
Has the MPP formally said that the register shouldn't be audited?
But our here is not in support of it. Our here is rather...
Is that the position of
what
the
is
MPP?
their position? We haven't heard their position so far as the register is concerned.
No, I'm only... You can say a word or two.
I will come in and you tell me that I'm interjecting. So let him finish.
All right. Okay. So Nani Asapwa, at the end of the day, if you just suppose the position of the Electoral Commission boss at the IEA in 2015,
yes,
who then supports and makes the call that the position of the opposition, the position of the opposition at the time, which is now the party in government, should be heeded to ensure that there's transparency, to ensure that there's trust for the Electoral Commission. And today, she is the head of the commission and looks like it's vice versa. What does it tell you?
If you're young, or you are seated, or you come to sit where I'm seated, and I'm asking you the same question. What is here? Your response might be different.
But there should
maybe
be
where she was
seated,
at the time, she saw.
But shouldn't there be principles?
6 as 9, and now she's seeing 9 as 6. I'm not saying that because I've not heard her speak. Sometimes we have organizational stance and we have personal stance. But of course, whether or not I think that, listen, there have been too many calls for this audit from too many angles, all right? And for that matter, it should be heeded to. We should be given that opportunity for. And I just want to make Awal understand one thing, that as part of the elements that can lead to the call for a forensic audit in any organization, in any jurisdiction, the element of doubt in the final report can be used to call for a forensic audit. So if...
Do these elements that already have been made public call for that?
Oh, there are elements of doubt. Of course, they have presented things and they are accusing you of doing. Now you are saying you have not also done it. The only way for us all, as stakeholders, to agree whether or not their calls or their doubts does exist is for us to have this audit and to come clean. But Roland, you see, the Great Transformational Plan has some prescribed principles or policies that can be used to clear all of this. One of this has to do with the appointments of independent constitutional bodies. Now, Alan is proposing that when he is president, this is what he's going to do. 1, amend Articles 70, 190, and I'm happy a lawyer is here. 195. Now, what's your law school as here?
David.
Okay. 202, 207, 212, 232, clause 2, related to the appointment of heads of independent constitutional bodies.
Like the Electoral Commission.
And other public sector entities, like the Electoral Commission.
Why is that?
And the heads of security services to make the appointment of the said officers by the president subject to the approval by the second chamber, which we established. No, we had already said that we would abolish the Council of State and establish the second chamber. Now, this is for us to be able to trust the persons that we appoint, and so that the persons we appoint would also have trust in their tenure. You understand? If the president has appointed you, if the government, the party in government has appointed you, and I mean, there's no independent body that has actually pushed you into office. Sometimes, many of the times, you would tend to toe the line of your appointee, and I know your appointer. Now, call us. You're correct. Appointee and appointer. Your appointee in the appointer. So you would tend to turn or toe the line of the appointer. You understand? So, Roland, if we have an independent body that, aside the executive, would see to the proper appointment of these independent constitutional bodies, the element of mistrust would go. And public perception as the appointees wearing partisan colors would also go off. That is the only way out. But Roland, you see, when the MPP was in opposition, everything the Electoral Commission did was wrong. When the NDC was in government, everything the Electoral Commission did was right. It should tell Ghanaians something.
What does it tell Ghanaians?
It tells us that when the drum is being beaten and the tune or the beat of the drum is actually going accordingly to the rhythm of the dance in their head, the drama is good. This could boom kakrabia on no answer. And this can only be dealt with when Ghanaians push away this due and bring about an independent-minded person to lead this nation. Somebody who has integrity, somebody who has a personality of accountability.
Who is that person?
Well, now, in Ghana here, as we speak, among the personalities that have put themselves out to be elected as president, the only person who can beat his chest, for that matter, to say that he's not corrupt, he's never been corrupt, and Ghanaians who an international world would have trusted him is Alan John Kojo Chromantin. There is no other person. And they know. Unless, Roland, you are not aware. You have been you are a long-standing broadcast journalist. Tell me for a fact that you can raise even a single doubt on the personality of Alan Chromantin.
Is it a question to me or just a statement?
Oh, me, we saw.
All right. Now, I'll let you talk and wrap up for us. But let's go to Ibrahim Wangara from the Upper West region. Good morning to you, Ibrahim.
Good morning.
Okay. So, where you are, would you say that everything is in place for this demonstration to start or this picketing?
Yes, please. From the Upper West region currently, we are at the ministry where the NDC enough demonstration is about to take start. And if you look behind me, you will see party supporters, security, and ambulance services all are here, eager and ready to protect and to ensure that the region reports a peaceful demonstration right here in the heart of Awa. But from our record from the communications department of the party, this walk or demonstration is expected to start from the ministries, from here to the main traffic light, from there to Kambali Junction and to the regional house of chiefs, and now finally to the Sambor area where the Electoral Commission office is situated. And the party, in our engagement with them, are demanding for certain things because they are saying that one, in the West Central constituency, they said a good number of registered voters, numbering about 27, bearing valid EC voter ID cards, who not find their names in the voters register during the exhibition exercise. So this is one of the things that is prompting them to go into this. And they have also realized that some qualified voters have their names placed on the exceptional or multiple list, which is also an issue to them. And again, some persons whose eligibility, according to them, were challenged during the registration, still had their names intact in the PVR, although they did not appear before the committee that was set up by the Electoral Commission. And they have equally realized that at some polling stations, the number of registered voters in the register provided to the NDC by the Electoral Commission either record less or more than what is contained in the PVR. At Mahama Primary 1 and 2 polling stations, for instance, NDC is claiming that the total number of registered voters were 554 and 558 respectively. While other places, including Pompala Mosque, where 443 as against 450. Also at the Central Mosque in Bamahu, A and B, different figures were also recorded in these places. So these are some of the things that they think that the issue needs to come out clearly so that the register will be given to them for them to be sure.
Okay. Ibrahim Wangara there with the latest for us. And even from what they keep recording some of these things. So constituency by constituency, all these are noticeable. And so if they are not brought to the notice of the EC, it means that everything is good to go.
Roland, what's the essence of exhibition exercise that we've been doing from
You tell me, what's the essence?
The essence is for them to correct anomalies, correct names, missing names, and at least correct polling station and so on. That is the reason. It's an audit in itself. Is this the massive demonstration? Seriously, this is your own stronghold. So, Roland, on the issue of Ejumako, the EC has come out to say that the 3,000 people you see there are not people that have been added to the register. These are people on absent list and the transfer list put together, and it was an anomaly, so they have corrected them. The reason for the exhibition exercise is for them, if you check, there are things that you will want people, you want the EC to change. They change that. Have you called Ejumako to ask them whether they have corrected or they have not? They have done that because we have our people on the grounds and they are saying that that anomaly has been corrected. The exhibition exercise has been like this from time immemorial. There's no exhibition exercise that do not come with challenges. That is the reason the CI clearly spelled out that there should be an exhibition exercise. Again, the register we are all holding is a provisional register. If you are given the register and you think the register is not really, the corrections has not been done, that is why you raise these issues. That's very important. And the law makes it abundantly clear that 3 months to the elections, you should be given 2 months to the election, you should be given the register. If you have any issue, you raise them. And these are exhibition exercise that has really been ongoing. And you have found some anomalies. And you are saying that these are anomalies that, again, the issues of illegal transfer. Even in Tamale South, your elections director in the northern region said 2,000 people. He mentioned 2,000 people being transferred to Pusiga. It turned out that it was 30. Now he's telling us 300,000. In which constituencies? I told you that in MPP, if we are alleging something, we prove We go with documentation. So Osman is telling us that when they visited the EC, what did they present to them? Is it not your mouth? You didn't even present any document to them. Which documents did you present? And they are calling on you to present the documents. You didn't even present it. He is now telling us that if they present the document and they are not there, it will not be done. So you lose the document when you present it. What do you lose in presenting them? What do you lose in even publishing them in the newspapers? The document that the EC is calling on you. In 2016, we published the 76,000 people in the media. We publish it after submitting to the EC. We publish it to the country for everyone to see. So what is preventing the NDC from sending it? As I said earlier, the NDC is struggling. That is the reason former President Mahama is attacking, insulting pastors, chiefs who are endorsing Dr. Bawumia, because he cannot even go around to campaign. He's in Accra.
When did he
making noise? Yesterday in his campaign, he mentioned that the pastors and imams and others are not helping. They are endorsing Dr. Bawumia because Dr. Bawumia will get to them and they endorse him. He does not get that endorsement because you go there and complain. Dr. Bawumia will go there with issues and tell them that these are the things that we have been able to do generally in Ghana. These are the things that we have been able to do within your own constituencies. Dr. Bawumia will go and point to things that he has done within constituencies. You will go there and complain and you expect the chief to come and say that they will support you to win. You are a known person. We know you. Is the old incompetent Mahama who had only 55 ambulances by 2016. Today, 307 ambulances across the
Adam
country.
Tamale says, and put this on our WhatsApp console. The EC must know that the destiny.
I was the last speaker.
The EC must know that the destiny of this country, as far as peace is concerned, rests in the hands and the impact MPP members of the EC, and should not be deceived by the soldiers around them. And that's coming from, well, we have a number of them also as well. So, okay. So then we also have this one coming from Michael Flew, who says there are a number of discrepancies that have been noticed. 243,540 previous transfers illegally added to the 2024 transfers, and then others as well. And landlord Bogadi line, I've come across a statement by Jane Mensah that then as IEA chair, now EC boss, shared by Franklin Kujo, asking for a forensic audit back in 2015. So the question is, what has changed? Well, gentlemen, thank you for passing through.
Roland, I thought I should react to a very huge lie.
No, but you cannot. I also have the opportunity. I didn't lie.
Please keep quiet. Let me speak.
I can't keep quiet because it will be unfair for him to also give you the opportunity. I will shut up.
You cannot sit on air and lie.
That former President
John Dramani insulted chiefs.
I have the video. I have the video when he was attacking them. When he was attacking them, insulting them, saying that they are endorsing, that they are endorsing.
You don't have anything.
The video is there. The video is there.
All right, let's go to Kumasi.
And lie. I mean, you don't sit on TV and lie.
You don't attack our imams. You don't attack our pastors.
You are busy roaming our imams. You are busy roaming
Right, let's go to Kumasi.
You lie early morning.
Ibrahim Abubakar is there.
But to set the records, Roland, let's be honest, we are all young people. JDM never insulted it.
What did he say?
I mean, you watch the video, you lie. He attacked them.
Let's go to Kumasi. So you go to Kumasi, Ibrahim Abubakar.
He's a liar. He's a big liar. He lied.
Can I please off their mics for me?
Big liar.
All right, so Ibrahim Abubakar. Ibrahim, thank you, gentlemen, for passing through. And then Ibrahim Abubakar.
Politics.
All right, Ibrahim. Unmute yourself and what's the atmosphere like? Ibrahim? Ibrahim, we're having some difficulty with your sound currently. All right. Or taking a break, or right back.
Prophecy time.
Abraham and Sarah, Mubanya twins.